I'm Bobby Liebling. I'm the lead vocalist of Pentagram. I co-founded the band in 1971. We've been together over 53 years, and still trudging on through the wilderness.
You're good. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm all right.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Doing all right this morning?
Huh? Yeah, I'm all right. Just chain smoking too much.
Yeah.
Had a tedious morning on the phone with all kinds of crap.
I gave the smoking up about 11 years ago, and after about 20
I wish.
I thought it was going to be difficult to do, but every once in a while I still crave a Marlboro Light, like after a good Chinese meal or something really interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be like,
I hear you.
I know. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I know you're busy, and I appreciate your time.
No problem at all. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
So, just a quick little brief history. I've done a few films in the past, always metal related and on mental health and blah, blah, blah. This one, because I'm in the same boat as everyone else, right? We're all aging, and I decided to try and put something together with, aging musicians and how we adapt to the metal community and how the metal community responds and that sort of thing. How crazy is that? You say you've been in this since 71. That's absolutely insane, right? Because you couldn't have ever had any kind of inkling it would be around that long, right?
None whatsoever. I thought I'd be dead 30 years ago from all the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. But, hey, shit happens. We move on.
In here. So as you continue to age, what legacy do you hope to leave behind as a metal musician, and how do you want to be remembered by future generations of fans?
That's a hard question. I suppose first and foremost would be to be respected for my music, of course, that I contributed to the rock world, music world. But moreover than that, I guess just that I made people happy along the way, because we've done it for 3 generations now, and it keeps passing the baton down. And to have that feeling inside is a really fulfilling, natured feeling, and it also, it's heartwarming, as well as the fact that knowing, hopefully after I'm not around, that people will talk about it and listen to the music on and on throughout time. I guess it's just pretty standard,
Fair enough. It's pretty interesting, though, and I think you don't see this in any other musical genre where you have generations of fans like coming to your shows, right? Because I go to shows now and I bring my son, and he's going to bring his kids. Metal shows seem to be multi-generational nowadays.
Yeah, they are. I mean, our audience ranges anywhere from 18 to 70 or close to it. I'm the only one who's that. I find is one of the few around for my generation, but nevertheless, I guess it's like I said before, it's a good feeling, because I have people who bring their grandchildren now, and it's really cool the way the devotion that people can pass down to the next generation of, hey, I like this, check it out. It's kind of interesting.
All right. So looking back on your career, here's another big one for you. Are there any moments or achievements that you hold particularly close to your heart? And if so, why?
I'm glad that they did the musical documentary called Last Days Here about me. And it showed all the trials and tribulations. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but nevertheless, it shows all the druggy years and all the messed up stuff that I went through, and I treasure that. I only wish that they would do the next 10 years, the Next Days Here movie, because that's when I really was able to have a rise in notoriety or popularity, really, and being known by more than a handful of people because the band was like kind of a cult following for many years, and I didn't really get to the major leagues in quotes in the business until I was in my 50s, which is kind of rare because generally speaking, the rockers that are well known out there and the people who through the years were my idols and the people I respected in the business were all making it in their 20s. And nobody knew we were a well concealed secret, like they said many times.
Yeah, fair enough. Um, so how do you cope with any limitations? I mean, aging inevitably brings changes to our physical abilities, right? Physically and mentally. How do you
Oh, yeah.
cope with the? I know I'm speaking for myself too. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm right there with you. But how do you cope with the limitations or changes in your performance as a musician? And how does the impact? Oh, sorry. And how does it impact your creative process?
Well, it's, sometimes you feel like, well, I've used up everything, I've used up all my ideas. But as long as the mind is still functional and lucid and you feel the juices start flowing, it kind of cranks you up again, and you can wind up and throw another pitch, so to speak. It's sort of like that. The aging is hard as far as physically touring and physically, like you said, it takes its toll on your body pretty damn heavily. I mean, I'm getting broken down and then with COPD and this and that, and my aching back and so forth. It becomes a real pain in the ass, more than figuratively. But it's just something I love, and it's what I chose to do, and I set out with a dream, and hopefully I'll have a little fulfillment.
As you reflect on your journey, 50 something years in the in the metal world, what emotions arise when you think about the impact your music has had on fans throughout the years?
It brings a tear to my eye. It's very touching. I'm very emotional, and I'm a crier a lot of times. When I'm happy, I cry. It's kind of like my voice goes up. Sorry, and it's very emotional to see people out there and their interaction with you. Some of the songs I find are hard to sing on stage now. They were just heavy hard rock when I did them initially, and now it's like they bring tears to my eyes, and it's hard. Sometimes I get choked up a little bit because it's an emotional journey. I mean, it's like being married. It's the same kind of a thing. You're married to your conviction, your commitment is there. And having that is very precious to me. So it's pretty damn emotional sometimes. You know, it's real.
So I think I know the answer to this, but let me pick your brain on it. Looking back on your career, is there anything you wish you'd done differently or any regrets you have?
I wish I'd gotten to the state that the band has gotten to now many years earlier, because again, the body starts yelling at you and it gets tougher and tougher as you get down the road. I mean, it's really hard on the road now. I used to find when I was younger, oh yeah, we can party it up and have a good time, and it's all a big rolling party. And now it's rolling into bed and trying to roll out of bed in the morning, right? Without the aches and pains and all the tolls that it's taken on you through the years. But it's still a lot of fun, man. I mean, I wouldn't trade my life for anything. I wouldn't. There are things that I, of course, regret. I regret, like I said a minute ago, I regret having not gotten to the same state of the band's, popularity many years younger. But I still wouldn't trade it. It's like you have a dream and you set out to do that, and I'm under total realization that one in a jillion gets a shot, at playing the major festivals and 1,000 people and so forth like that. And I've got to do it. So it's touching, very touching.
Here's a good one for you. What role do you think nostalgia plays in the continued popularity of heavy metal and fans?
I think it's really just human nature to enjoy a generational situation. Uh, I don't think it's necessarily the nostalgia as much as each generation you grow up with what's around you, obviously, and that's what you've grown with, and that's what creates nostalgia to me because you remember your growing years, your adolescence, and then up to 20s, 30s, whatever it may be. And at any given time, I think that's what makes you revert back to it. And it's just, to me, it's a natural human emotion. It's not really anything that's an instituted thing. It's normally inbred in us, I believe. Okay, so if that kind of tells you that part.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
so here's
good.
the one I got interrupted on when I was trying to ask before, and I lost my audio. Looking back on your career, or as you reflect on your journey as a metal musician, is there anything that stands out as being extremely memorable?
Yeah, doing the movie is memorable now with nostalgia kicking in when I look back on it because it was a lot of fun, and I wouldn't let them do the movie about me unless they kept it completely real. And now I can appreciate that. I cry and can't watch it, all the way through and stuff like that. And it gets me upset, but it's kind of in a heartwarming way because it's, wow, I made it through the vortex and I came out the hole on the other end, and I'm still
And you're
here.
still doing it.
God. Yeah, and I'm still doing it, man. So that's basically what that boils down to, I think.
So, what advice would you give to younger musicians who are just starting their journey out in the metal world?
You definitely got to have availability in your life to put in if you're going to pursue it and really pursue it seriously. I happen to do it as a total profession. I mean, this is how I live and what I subsidize my life with. And if you don't have the time to put into it, I think you have to give it a long-term perspective and sit down and ask yourself, can I endure this for 20 or 30 years? Because the bands don't last very long nowadays, it seems like. There are very few of the old guys like myself around. And even though, we're dying off, which is a natural, process, I think you've got to really weigh those things out before you get into the business because it's really not easy at all. People think, oh, it's all fun and games and you're going to party it all up. But then when you've been in it a long time and you've seen all the red flags that come up, all the blockades, the legal things that might arise and all the logistics involved, you have to say, can I endure? So ask yourself that first. But then, nevertheless, if you have that dream, always pursue your dream, man, because I'm living proof that you can accomplish it. So.
So then, last one then I had was along those same things. How do you stay motivated and inspired to continue making music after all these decades in the industry, with it being so difficult anyway?
I watch a lot of baseball and I don't listen to music at home, so that when I'm in the stimulus of doing it and actively participating, like going on tours or into an album process of recording, it gets me more spark. I think you have to have other avenues in your life, of course. And even though I pursued this as a profession, my other hobbies, little things, I watch baseball 9 hours a day. I'm a baseball fanatic and I try to focus on that and just take my mind off of it. But then when it's time to buckle down, I feel like you can be more prepped for that because life is not just a cherub leaf, like the Blues Magoos once said. And, you gotta have other things that you do in your life. I focus on other aspects of my life when I'm not doing music. But then when I go at it, it gives me more motivation to, yeah, now it's time to fasten your seatbelts. You know, we're revving up the motors here.
So I know I said that was the last one, but one more.
No
Do you
problem.
have any plans to hang it up or retire, or are you going to the end?
I'm going to the end, man. I'm a lifer. You know, it's like the service. When you go in, you can go in for you know, you can get drafted for 2 or enlist for 3. Or it used to be like that. I don't know nowadays, but uh, I'm in it for the long haul. It's, you know, someday they'll bring the stretcher out on stage, maybe, but who knows? You know, I'm in it. I'm in it till the end. It's what it's about for me. It's what
That
gets
is
my
all I
rocks
had.
off. It's what
I hope
gets
that
my
wasn't too
rocks
bad.
off. Yeah.
I hope that
Okay.
wasn't too bad.
Oh, I loved it. I love doing these things now. I used to not know what to say, and
Right.
now it's like, you know, in maturing in anything. You know, I've gotten
Yeah.
to where, yeah,
And we just keep it casual anyway, right? We're just talking and bullshitting, and we'll go
yeah,
from there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
not related to Pentagram at all, or this whole thing. Who's your team? The Orioles?
No, as a matter of fact, no. I'm moved up right outside of Philly now, so it's become the Phillies. But this year, the Yankees have got it by the balls, and I grew up in Brooklyn, so I'm going all Yankees. Juan Soto is my boy, and he's just gotten signed with the Yankees, and they got that lineup with Judge, Soto, Stanton. My God, what a killer! They
I
really
grew
got
up
to
on
go.
Long Island, so I'm a Mets fan.
Oh, okay. Ooh. No.
I grew up in
That's
Valley Stream.
thinking this year. They're thinking this year, but they're now they're getting a little sparks. Their wheels are starting to turn.
You
Last
know
couple
what?
of
I
games.
mean, all of my teams, I'm a New York Islanders fan too. They've all sucked forever. But just a diehard, right? I mean, it doesn't matter anymore. I know they're going to lose, but I'm still that guy.
That's how the Philly fans are exactly. It's like we know they're going to go all the way to the last step and then poop out before the series comes around.
Right.
Yeah, it's inevitable, man. I was a Nationals fan for many years when I lived in the DC area.
Right.
And when they sold the whole team off a few years ago, it was like, oh my God, now I got to go through this rebuild process again, you know? And I really have hardcore fanaticism for baseball bad.
Right. So you grew up in Brooklyn then. So did you hang out at Lemoore?
No, this was just when I was little bitty.
Oh, okay.
And I used to, you know, spend all the summers at Rockaway Beach with my grandparents and stuff like that. And just you know, in Bensonhurst.
Yeah.
I never really was at the age yet where I was really heavily, you know, into
Shows.
music or
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, I was a little kid. You know, I was born in Washington D.C., but I'm still a little kid.
Yeah. That's what keeps you going, right?
It is what keeps you going, man. Yeah, you got to retain that young spirit. If you get too bogged down in all the bullshit, you know, you're going to get old. It's going to stress you out, and stress drops you. My friend said to me, Bobby, I don't know how you let everything roll off your back. Everything. And I said, yeah, well, why should I die of, you know, a stroke or a heart attack? It might be the way I go in the end, but I'm not going to induce it or help it along. I want to be here, man. I want to be doing this, you know, for another 10 years if I can. Hopefully. Yeah.
Thank you, my friend, for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so very much. It was so much fun. I hope you got something you can use at all.
I definitely do. Absolutely.
Okay, good. Thank you so very much for
Thank
having
you, my
me.
friend. You have a great weekend. Be well.
All right.
Cheers.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. Bye.